So, my friends, it appears that Nebraska is getting in with the good times. They're building a nice facility, and they're going to call it the Cornhusker Clink, a new place to house temporarily illegal immigrants before they get sent packing from whence they came. This is from CNN themselves. They write, Nebraska announces plan for immigration detention center dubbed the Cornhusker Clink. Nebraska announced plans Tuesday for an immigration detention center in the remote southwest corner of the state as President Donald Trump's administration races to expand the infrastructure necessary for increasing deportations. And race they must, because Donald Trump may be the only president in our lifetimes who will follow through on deportation and hopefully even potentially mass deportation down the road. Since Ronald Reagan attempted to fix the amnesty problem, no president, not Bill Clinton, not George W. Bush, not Mr. Obama, not Biden, of course, but no one has tried to do anything about this. So you don't know if we're going to get another opportunity like this again. So race they must. Now, the facility, CNN writes, will be dubbed the Cornhusker Clink, a play on Nebraska's nickname of the Cornhusker State and an old slang term for jail. This name follows in the vein of the previously announced Alligator Alcatraz and the deportation depots and detention centers in Florida and the Speedway Slammer in Indiana. Republican Governor Jim Pillen said he and the Department of Homeland Security and Secretary Kristi Noem had agreed to use an existing minimum security prison work camp in McCook, a remote city of about 7,000 people in the middle of the wide open prairies between Denver and Omaha, to house people awaiting deportation and being held for other immigration proceedings. It is expected to be a Midwest hub for detainees from several states. Pillen said in a statement that this is about Nebraskans and Americans across our country, safe. The facility can accommodate 200 people with plans to expand to 300. McCook is about 210 miles west of Lincoln, the state capital. Kristi Noem said that if you are in America illegally, you could find yourself in Nebraska's Cornhusker Clink or Alligator Alcatraz or God knows where else. And so she said, avoid arrests and self-deport now using the CBP Home app. And indeed, my friends, up until now, the Trump administration is claiming that 1.6 million people have self-deported since Donald Trump took office, with another 300 and something thousand people getting deported by force. Still a long way to go, but it is a step in the right direction. Now, the governor, CNN writes, said later at a news conference in McCook that the center will have the advantage of being located at an existing facility and near a regional airport, which is good because that means they can fly people directly out of the country. He told reporters that he didn't know if the center would house women as well as men or if children could be held there. He said he first learned the federal government was interested in the facility on Friday. Pillen also announced that he would order the Nebraska National Guard to provide administrative and logistical support to Nebraska-based immigration agents, and about 20 soldiers will be involved. He said that the Nebraska State Patrol would allow 6 troopers to help federal immigration agents make arrests. Yeah, this is really good news. And I think you're going to see more and more states continue to go along with this as the momentum gains traction. And because, make no mistake, right now the administration is deporting roughly about 1,400 people per day now. That's not the people that they're arresting. That's actually getting flown out of the country or kicked the hell out, 1,400 per day. That's what it's up to right now. And with the so-called big, beautiful bill, you've got, what was it, $150 billion is going to be added to ICE. So this will certainly ramp up there with another 10,000 agents on the way, possibly more. You can expect those numbers to rapidly increase. And if more and more states get on board to help facilitate this, you might eventually see serious numbers. I'm hoping to see somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 at least per day getting deported. That would be in the right vein of where we need to be, but one step at a time. Anyway, CNN continues, adding detention facilities to hold growing number of immigrants arrested. The Trump administration is adding new detention facilities across the country to hold the growing numbers of immigrants. No. Let me correct CNN here. These are not immigrants. They are illegal aliens. They are criminals who broke into the country. Immigrants are people who come here legally. These are people that get visas, that get green cards, that get permission to enter the country, not break in and say, oh, I need protection. No, they're not putting immigrants there. Aliens. It is an important distinction that the left has long since been trying to obfuscate, to confuse. Now, ICE centers were holding more than 56,000 immigrants in June, illegal aliens, the most since 2019. It's actually 59,000. They got it wrong. The new and planned facilities include the remote detention center in Florida Everglades known as the Alligator Alcatraz, which opened last month. It is designed to hold up to 3,000 detainees in temporary tent structures. When Trump toured it, he suggested it could be a model for future lockups nationwide, and likely, I think, we will see that happen. The Florida facility has also been the subject of legal challenges by attorneys who allege violations of due process there. Due process is, are you here legally? Yes, no. And if you claim yes, show us your paperwork. Nope, not here legally. There, you got your due process. Get the. But of course, they want it to be months, weeks, months, years stuck in court so that we can't get rid of them. Anyway, including the rights of detainees to meet with their attorneys, limited access to immigration courts, and poor living conditions. We don't need to be sending these people to immigration courts. That is a way to keep these people in here. You already have 3 million people on standby to see judges. It's going to take years for the 3 million to even be seen by these judges. You can't put another 25, 30 million people on there. It's never going to work, which, by the way, is the design of the immigration court system. It is designed to be inefficient to the point of essentially ineffective, unable to operate, so that eventually the American people will throw up their hands in despair and give up. That's the real purpose of the immigration courts, not to simply process these people and get them in or out. Anyway, CNN writes, critics have been trying to stop further construction and operations until it comes into compliance with federal environmental laws. The talking about environmental laws? Shut the up. Seriously, who the cares about environmental laws when you're trying to save the country? And furthermore, what the does that have to do with a prison? These people really piss me off, man. The environmentalist zealots is one of my pet peeves. It really is. That stuff just, it gets under my skin because they're crazy. They're lunatics. Slobbering over the mother Gaia. Anyway, the Florida facility, Florida Governor, meanwhile, Ron DeSantis announced last week that his administration is preparing to open a second facility, dubbed Deportation Depot, at a state prison in North Florida. It is expected to have another 1,300 immigration beds, illegal alien beds, though the capacity could be expanded to 2,000, state officials said. Also, last week, officials in the rural Tennessee town of Mason voted to approve agreements to turn a former prison into an immigration detention facility operated by a private company, despite loud objections from residents and activists who were probably not residents during a contentious public meeting. See, this is going to expand. And if you get every Republican state in on this, we could get this process really efficient. Putting these people into these facilities and then getting them the hell out of the country. Which, if your goal is to get rid of 25 to 30 million illegal aliens from the country, this is the way that you get it done. Let's see. Now, Corrections Director Rob Jeffrey said that the 186 inmates currently at the McCook work camp will be transferred to other state facilities over the next 45 to 60 days. The repurposed facility will be run by the states, but will be paid for by the federal government. He said it's already set up and accredited to hold prisoners, so detainees won't be housed in tents or other temporary quarters. Now, CNN wants you to know that Nebraska's plan has already raised concerns. Of course it does. And I'll bet they come from the party of opposition. So in a video posted to social media, let's see if we can get this video here. Let's see what Megan Hunt has to say about her concerns.
Hello, I'm Senator Megan Hunt, and I represent Omaha in Nebraska. And this morning, our Governor Jim Pillen announced that Nebraska has been working with ICE to open a new 300-bed detention facility.
Sounds good so far.
You can't even say immigrants, just because a lot of these people are citizens, just people detained.
Really? A lot of these people are citizens? Can you name one? I bet she couldn't.
In Nebraska to house them while they are processed and they await deportation or worse.
What's worse? Maybe prison for crimes they committed? Maybe they're getting executed? She sounds a little strange herself.
On August 6th, last week, I sent a Freedom of Information Act request to the governor and the executive branch, asking if for any kind of records, any texts, calls, emails, any communication whatsoever with Department of Homeland Security, with the State Department, with any federal agency.
The point, of course, is which to try and slow down the process, be a thorn in everyone's side, so that she can protect the citizens, which are really just illegal aliens.
Regarding plans to build a detention facility in Nebraska. They got back to me. They said it was too expensive. They said they wouldn't be able to fulfill it by, a date way off in the future.
Oh man, that is fantastic. So in other words, they were like, let's get this bee out of our hair. Oh, of course we wouldn't do something like that. And then throw in this surprise announcement. This is great.
And so I'm still waiting to get those records and working within the process that we have to get records of those communications. But today they have announced that, yes, indeed, they are opening a detention facility in Nebraska.
Sounds like the the Freedom of Information request is no longer really needed.
There is a lack of transparency here. I mean, the unwillingness of the governor to even share with a state senator, with the legislative branch, what the plans are. It sounds like McCook's mayor, the city where they're going to be opening this facility, hasn't even been briefed on it, that this is the first they're hearing about it. With these detention facilities, we've seen that many people with no criminal records
they all are criminals. Every single one of these a-holes that broke into this country is by definition a criminal. Every single one of them. This dumb and everybody like her, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it like it is. This dumb and the people like her, they are purposely trying to guilt trip people into just saying, oh, well, they're not really criminals. They're just needing a better life. But I guarantee you, every one of these countries that these a-holes are sneaking out of to come to our country to feed off of our trough of goodwill and possibilities for a better life. You try to go into those countries, you will go to jail. You try to break into Mexico, you F around, you're going to find out. They're all criminals. Now, some may come here and do additional criminal activity, but every single day that one of these people break into the country and live here, they are breaking the law. Every single day. If they've been here for 30 years, that means every single day they have broken our laws by being inside our country. No, I'm sorry. I have absolutely no sympathy for these people and women like this Megan Hunt. The idea that they don't have criminals, blah, 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 blah. Just shut the hell up. Seriously. People like this really piss me off.
Who are here legally, in many cases are citizens, in some cases are veterans. They're being...
Again, a load of crap. Show me the evidence. A lot of them are citizens. The hell they are. Misinformation, disinformation from good old Megan Hunt.
Pulled away from their families, from their communities.
Because they don't belong here. Because they're criminal aliens. They broke into this country. Yeah, they get to be pulled away from their communities. They don't belong here. They never have. They can try to come back if they leave now on their own accord and maybe try again legally. But screw these people breaking into this country. What the hell is she even on? What crack is she smoking?
From work, from contributing to our economy.
Yeah, they're infestations in this country.
Economy here, and being warehoused in these facilities. And one of the first things a lot of people are saying too in Nebraska is, how are we going to staff these places?
With people, with money from the federal government that will pay for the people so that we can rid ourselves of this infestation. Not hard. But see, she knows this. She knows everything she's saying is a load of crap. She is disingenuous. She is lying. Willingly, openly lying about all of this. Why? Because she and all of her ilk have one overwhelming desire, and that is to flood the zone with millions upon millions of people here in this country illegally to eventually give them citizenship. Why? To have a permanent underclass and a new voter class that will vote for the Democrat Party. Because anyone who is of lower social economic class is suspect or is susceptible rather to getting government assistance to help them when they become citizens. And of course, a lot of them are gaming the system now as illegals, but we're not talking about them right now. And those that need government assistance tend to overwhelmingly vote for the party that gives them the most stuff. It's a survival thing. The Democrat Party knows this. They've already seen it play out once before, back in 1986 with amnesty. 2.7 million people received amnesty back in the 80s. This flipped California, deep, deep blue. That's when they realized, holy crap, cash cow of new voters. That's the real truth behind this scumbag's desire to protect these aliens. This is why she is lying. She's a scumbag.
We can't even staff our own correctional facilities. Well, what I say to that is these places that are run by ICE are not meant to be rehabilitative.
Ding, ding. Welcome to the world of obvious. Yes, they're designed for one purpose, to get these aliens the out. That's it. That's all these facilities are for. And this stupid knows it.
This isn't a place for services or recovery or, access to care or food or, any kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a landfill for people.
Yep.
And they don't need a lot of staff to run that.
That's right.
I'm
Kick them the
interested and curious to see how that shakes out. They are dumping people there. Building cages doesn't fix anything.
Sure it does. Building cages fixes everything because they go there, you process them, and then you deport them. Easy. And again, this knows this. She knows it. But she is trying to lie for emotional manipulation for her followers, for her voters, and the entire Democrat Party is in on this. The whole goal is to try and manipulate the public into loosening their support of Donald Trump. But guess what? It's not working. The overwhelming majority of the American people want these aliens out of the country. And this is why Donald Trump is winning by a mile when it comes to how Americans see Trump on crime. They love what he's doing. And when you look at the Democrat Party, they are being killed in the polling data on which party is tougher on crime. That's what this is.
I implore all of you to become involved with local immigrant rights organizations.
Not immigrants, they're illegal aliens.
In Nebraska, that's like SERA, that's like Nebraska Appleseed, that's the ACLU. I know that groups are organizing protests at the McCook Airport today for when the governor is flying in. So maybe that's something to look into your networks and look at what that's about. But when we get more information from the governor's office about the plans for the facility, there will be more opportunities to protest then. But above all, the number one thing we need to do is protect our neighbors, protect the people in our communities who are being targeted by.
When she says protect our neighbors, that is code for try to hide them, to protect their identities, to aid these aliens in their criminal endeavors to break into our country, to live off of our generosity, to steal from we, the American people. That's all that it is.
By these horrible people.
The horrible people are not those that are trying to save their country and kick these people the hell out. It is the people that are here breaking the law. It doesn't matter how long you've been in this country. You could be here for 40 years. I don't care. You are a criminal. You're thumbing your nose at the American people. You're saying, you, I've been here for years and years. I can do what I want. I don't care about your laws. That's all there's to it.
Horrible organizations that are making choices to lock up, detain, disappear our neighbors and families and friends.
Criminals, criminals, and criminals. Aliens who don't belong here. They're not disappearing your neighbors and families and friends. They're disappearing people who are criminals who are breaking into this country. That's it.
So community is going to be the answer to this. I don't know if the answer exists within the system. You know, I don't know if there's a legislative fix. That's not going to come soon.
But what we're seeing now is the legislative fix, because these a-holes allowed 20 to 30 million people to break into the country with no repercussions.
Within the system that we have here, that would be something that happens next year, you know, at the soonest. And only if we have the support of enough senators to get something like that passed. So the most urgent thing all of us can do is make sure that we are taking care of our neighbors and taking opportunities to protest and take direct action wherever we can. So connect with those organizations that are doing that, and take care of each other.
Oh, we are taking care of each other by kicking the aliens out of the country. Easy. Now, of course, as you might imagine, and as CNN is reporting, there are protesters doing their protesty thing, making signs like saying, "No Nazi Nebraska," and "ICE equals Gestapo," because, of course, with these lunatics, these whack jobs, they always go back to Nazi, 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 which, by the way, is ridiculous and absurd. The Germans weren't interested in kicking people out of the country. They were interested in killing them to purge them from old life. There's a big difference between protecting the rule of law, saving your country, and the Nazis. But of course, with people like this Megan Hunt, it's all performative. So she's a piece of crap. That's all there's to it. Moving on.